In Revenge of the Sith, Padme pleaded with Anakin to come back to her and not continue down the dark path. Anakin had been corrupted by the dark side, and the sight of Obi-Wan angered Anakin to the point of choking his wife unconscious. But what if Padme brought Anakin back to the light? Padme is begging Anakin to come back to her. She fuels him with images of their future together as a family. In Revenge of the Sith, Padme makes the mistake of turning on Anakin and leaning on Obi-Wan, which only angered him even more. This time, however, she wouldn't do this. She would continue to connect to the good within Anakin, the man he once was and who Padme believed him to be. This would begin to resonate and connect within Anakin more and more as Padme drilled into him. Anakin has been struggling. He feels guilt and remorse. He was crying only minutes ago. He is suffering internally, and this conversation with Padme has brought it all to the surface. Obi-Wan was about to exit Padme's ship, but sensed the conflict within Anakin and decides to let this play out. Anakin falls to his knees and grasps his head with his hands, drowned in guilt.
What have I done?
Obi-Wan exits Padme's ship and locks eyes with her as they nod at each other. He goes to Anakin's side and kneels next to him alongside Padme. Obi-Wan tells Anakin that it's okay. He can feel his remorse and guilt through the Force. Anakin looks up at his master, with tears streaming down his face, and mutters his name. Obi-Wan tells him that the time to repent isn't now, as they need to deal with Sidious, or his manipulation and tyranny will continue to corrupt the galaxy as it has himself. He concludes by telling Anakin that Yoda is with Sidious right now, and they must go there to help. Anakin nods his head, and the two head towards Coruscant. Anakin hugs Padme before they leave, and Obi-Wan sends her to Bail Organa on Polis Massa. They take Padme's ship straight to the Senate building. They speed through the hallway and doors to see Yoda facing Sidious at the center podium. They ignite their blades and rush towards them. Sidious goes to slash at Yoda, but senses something is wrong through the Force, and backflips 5 meters back to evade Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin stares intently at Sidious, whom he realizes to have manipulated him all this time. Yoda's gaze is towards Anakin, but then switches to Obi-Wan, who nods, and they focus on Sidious.
Foolish boy, I offered you everything you could have ever wanted.
Out of Sidious's left sleeve comes a second saber, and he smiles and cackles at the Jedi. Sidious knows he cannot escape, but isn't sure he can defeat the three masters. He will attempt to use Anakin's brashness against him. Anakin rushes in first, closely by Yoda. The Jedi were surprised at Sidious's ability to defend against 3 skilled opponents at once. A master of all 7 lightsaber forms, Sidious was truly a match for the Jedi. Sidious lodges his blade into the ground, swings around and kicks Obi-Wan backwards. He lands perfectly and sends lightning towards Yoda and Anakin. Yoda catches, but Anakin is sent flying backwards. Sidious goes to jump after Anakin, but Yoda intercepts him mid-air to stop this. The Grand Master of the Jedi Order, Yoda, was using his acrobatic Form 4 technique to disrupt Sidious and keep him on edge. Obi-Wan rejoins the fray, but gets ahead of himself by trying to counter-attack, striking at Sidious's waist. However, this was a trap laid by Sidious, who quickly steps out of the way and closes his blade in on Obi-Wan's face. At the last second, Anakin kicks Palpatine's arm to the side, but he was too late to avoid any damage. Obi-Wan's left arm is severed from his torso, and he winces in pain. Sidious sends lightning at Obi-Wan, who is caught and removed from the battle. The pace of the battle increases. Anakin, Sidious and Yoda jump all around the Senate chamber. Sidious begins hurling the senators' carts towards the Jedi, who dodge and slowly make their way towards him. Sweat trickles down Anakin's face as he hones in on his opponent, eager to end the Sith Lord. Sidious picks up 10 carts and hurls them towards the Jedi, but Yoda and Anakin zone in together to stop them with the Force. They hold them for a second before sending them flying back at more speed than they came. Sidious spends 10 milliseconds contemplating what to do. He doesn't have the power to stop all the carts and determines he must jump out of the way, but Sidious failed in his thinking. This left him open and vulnerable in the air, which Anakin was planning on taking advantage of. He sends his sky blue lightsaber hurling towards the vulnerable Sith Lord, which pierces him in the lower abdomen. Sidious lets out an almighty scream and hurls towards the ground. He goes to brace the fall, but his leg crumbles under him and he smashes his head on the hard ground, temporarily seeing black. He blinks a few times to see Anakin and Yoda rushing towards him. Using the last of his strength in between seeing black, he sends lightning at the two. Anakin anticipates this through the Force and ducks under, spins around to slice Sidious in half, killing the Sith Lord. Yoda deactivates his lightsaber as a wave of relief washes over him. His worst fears have been ended and the dark side will not prevail. They rush over to Obi-Wan to make sure he's okay, which he is. Yoda contacts Bail to inform him of Sidious's defeat. Bail acknowledges Yoda and congratulates him, but also informs them Padme has begun labor. Anakin's eyes go wide as he looks at Yoda and Obi-Wan collectively. Obi-Wan nods and this is all Anakin needs. He heads straight off away to Polis Massa to assist Padme with birth. Bail Organa mobilizes the delegation of 2,000 to force a Senate meeting to explain what has occurred. The Senate is informed of Palpatine's true identity as a Sith Lord and exposes his plans for the galaxy, from initiating the Clone War to framing the Jedi as enemies of the Republic. Yoda and Obi-Wan assist in this venture. Order 65 is executed and the clones cease to attack the Jedi. The Jedi, what's left of the Council, Obi-Wan and Yoda, take control in the interim period with the backing of the delegation of 2,000. Obi-Wan recalibrates the message to all Jedi for a second time to inform them that the Sith had been defeated and it's safe to return to Coruscant. Padme successfully gave birth to 2 twins to Anakin's surprise. This only brought him more shame as his premonitions of the future had been a lie and his journey down the dark path was not necessary. However, the joy he experiences seeing his wife and 2 children alive is unable to be put into words. In the following weeks, the galaxy has to recover. The bureaucrats and Jedi initiate a vote for a new Chancellor. Senators Mon Mothma and Bail Organa receive almost equal votes, so decide to co-chancellor together, the first time in history. The Jedi Council was completely decimated. Only Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Coleman Kaj survived. About 200 Jedi and Padawans return after Obi-Wan recalibrated his message, but the Order is only a shadow of what it once was. But the important thing is that they survived and can build from there. They reside in a government building until their temple is rebuilt. Obi-Wan and Yoda offer for Anakin to come back to the Jedi and repent for his mistakes. Anakin genuinely considers this as he feels he believes he has a lot to make up and repent for, but decides he has no place in the Jedi Order. Although his path wasn't straight, he's fulfilled his duty as the Chosen One and defeated the Sith. His family is his main priority in life and has to focus on them. They accept Anakin's decision and he leaves with Padme and their newborn twins to the countryside of Naboo. The war ended with Palpatine's death, so Padme feels it's acceptable to step away from the Senate and end her political career. She knows she's got an important job raising these 2 children who will no doubt be strong in the Force. They often get visits from Ahsoka, who is basically an honorary member of the Skywalker family. When Anakin has business elsewhere, she stays behind to protect them. The clone army was decommissioned, but the ones left were used in a micro-war against the crime syndicates, an agenda pushed by Bail Organa, as he believed they were the only thing standing in the way of true galactic peace. Maul is the head of the crime syndicates in the years following Order 66, but is eventually defeated by Kenobi himself, and their long arc comes to a close. The Jedi Order has re-established itself on Coruscant. New laws and regulations are placed inside the Senate to ensure the Sith or any dark side user could never infiltrate again. Mandatory blood midichlorian checks take place. They believe the Sith to be defeated for good and continue their ways of bringing peace and order to the galaxy. However, on a distant planet in the unknown regions, a clone body becomes infused with a life essence as a clone Sidious opens his eyes reborn. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. We've been working really hard to become better video editors to provide you with more enjoyable and engaging videos, so this would really help. Consider becoming a member on our channel to hear about videos before they are released, and join our fantasy folklore community over on Discord.